Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie Ludy and I cover digital tools to make your teaching more effective. Today we're going to talk about probably one of the more underrated programs, Google Sheets. Now, I know what you're thinking. Google Sheets? I never used Excel. Why in the world would I use Google Sheets? And my answer to that is, why the heck aren't you using Google Sheets? Google Sheets is made for data management. And as a teacher, we have so much data to sort through. Why not hand it over to a computer that can sort through it for you so you can just identify the few things you need and move on with your life? Today, we're gonna talk about how it can really save you time from its templates to just its basic programs. Let's go. We're gonna look at Sheets this week, so let's start in Drive. So I'm here in Drive and I'm gonna go New and I'll click Sheets, and I'm actually gonna go from a template. Google Sheets has a ton of great templates for you to use, especially for teaching. So let's check them out. Some of the first ones that you could use are this schedule. So this schedule would be great for like a sub binder if your school requires you to make those. It already has all of those times filled in for you by day. You could fill in by blocks. You could even change these times, whatever you wanted to do. Write some notes down here for your sub. Let's see. Let's go back to templates. I like this team roster. This team roster here is great for sports teams. You can change everything about it, the name, the year, the names of the people, all of that contact information, any notes you want to add, like, hey, they're allergic to peanuts, or, you know, they have an inhaler. Also has a spot for coaches. Here we go. The ones down at the bottom for education. Attendance, gradebook, and assignment tracker. Let's do assignment tracker first. This would be great to assign to your students because you can pick whatever subjects you want. They can type in the assignment. They have the options for not started, in progress. They have the options for status, time, date, and due date. And then if you went to this bottom down here where it says subjects, you could fill in whatever classes they had and it would reflect in this drop-down menu here. The next amazing template is attendance, and it has codes and dates for all of these things. So you could do this for the whole month, and you could change these dates if you wanted to make a copy. So present, late, excused, unexcused. And it'll tally up all of these codes that you put in, and it'll tally up how many lates, excused, and unexcused absences they have. And here you can set the key for those things as well. Super convenient attendance sheet if you want to take attendance for your own self. Finally, let's go to this last one because honestly, it's probably the most helpful out of all of these. Gradebook. Oh, how I love Gradebook. Before we were doing Google Classroom exclusively, I had one of these for every trimester, for every grade, for every class. It was beautiful. So on this first overview page, it tells you how many of each grade you have. So if you have 6 failing kids, it tells you right away. It also shows you a graph of grade distribution and average scores on each thing. So if I go to grades here, this is my main grade book. This is where I would live as a teacher. I put my students in over here. This is already all set up for letter grades. So it'll automatically calculate based on the number that's here. And you just put in your assignments. So like homework 1, and then you make the points and it'll grade all this and it'll figure out the average. The other beautiful thing is this individual report. So I can sort by student by selecting them from a drop-down menu. So if I want a conference with one of my kids, I could just pick them from the menu and we could see all of their grades for all of those things and check out this nice graph and a bunch of other things. It's fantastic, especially for a free template. I highly suggest using it if you're not using a Google Classroom already. Or maybe have this as your backup copy to your Focus, your Vision, your Schoology, Blackboard, whatever you use. Okay, so let's get into some of the really good features of just Google Sheets. All right, so I have a blank spreadsheet here. Say I want to make an organizational thing just for me. So maybe I'm gonna schedule my Friday meetings. I would like to freeze this row, meaning it'll stay at the top no matter what I'm doing, especially if I have a lot of data. So I go to View and then Freeze and just that one row. So then if I scroll up or down, that stays right where it is, even though these numbers are going up sky high. If I unfreeze it and then I scroll down, I instantly lose that heading. And then I have no idea what I'm looking at. Especially if you're trying to keep track of grades and you want their names to keep showing up, you should definitely freeze those rows. Sorry, my mouse has been funny. It fell in my mug of coffee and it's been not good ever since. Anyway, View, Freeze, one row. And it'll give it that thicker gray line there to let you know that you freezed it. So then I also have the option to color in these cells. So I'm gonna highlight them and unclick the paint bucket. And I like this pink shade they have. So I can add colors to cells so it'll remind me of certain things, so headings will stick out a little bit more, anything like that. And I wanna mark them present or absent for the day. A simple checkbox would be great. All right, so I will highlight these here and I will go Insert and Checkbox. And then it'll put those there for me so I can easily toggle or untoggle. Those are great for attendance because then you can just go straight down the line and be done in no time. Don't forget to give your sheets a title. Makes it much easier to find later. Let me get rid of this and let me actually put in scores. So then I'm gonna set up a conditional formatting here. So if I double click the letter B at the top, it selects the whole column. So I selected that column and I'm gonna go Format, Conditional Formatting. I like to use color scale. So that'll give me a scaled response depending on what the number is. So I'm gonna choose my lowest number to be 0, my minimum number, and I'm gonna make that red because that means they failed. My midpoint, that's about my passing, so I'll pick the number, we'll go 6. And I'll make this like a yellowish. And then my last number will be 8 or above, and we'll make that a nice green color. Done. And now I have this color scale set up, so it will prioritize these based on their score. So like my 3 and 4s are closer to that red color, my 6 is in the middle, and my 8 is much closer to the green because they're. So one of the other things I like to use sheets for is to graph things, especially because I teach science and we need labs. So let's do liquid and let's do average lux, which is transparency. So how much light will shine through. Lux is just kind of the units for that. So we'll go water, and we'll go salt water, and we'll go Coke. So I highlight those things. I'm gonna go Insert Chart, and then it makes this beautiful graph for me. It tells me my two things that I'm comparing. It puts the axes labels on it. It labels my bar graphs, puts in grid lines. It just works. I could go to my 3 dots up here and then I could copy it. I could move it to its own sheet, whatever I wanted to do to make this work. So I pulled this data from elsewhere and I just wanted to show you how we could sort all this data. I highlight all this data and then I go Data, Sort Range, which is what I like to do. And then I'll put data has header row and then I'll decide what I want to sort by. Score, A to Z, and sort. So then I have all my 10s at the bottom and my low scores at the top. I could remove duplicates and I could choose what I don't want duplicates of. So I don't want duplicates of timestamp. Every timestamp is unique because there's not enough kids for repeat timestamps. Don't forget about remove duplicates feature for filtering out multiple answers from the same student. I hope you enjoyed that video and that you learned some really good ways that you can use sheets to kind of boost your productivity in your classroom. Whether it's taking attendance, simplifying your grade book, or maybe even just sorting through all of those responses from your Google form. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up down below and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Also, please consider subscribing. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. I'd love to have you. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.